Hi, Ben here from Trident Fly Fishing. Today we're going to be talking about the all-new Scott Flex. The Flex replaces the A4 in Scott's lineup as a mid-priced, all-around, high-performance fly rod. Today we're going to be casting the 9-foot 5-weight Scott Flex paired with the Lamson Lightspeed, our favorite trout reel, and SAGPX, our favorite trout line. Now what's so great about this Flex is that 3 years ago, there were not really any good rods at the $500 price point. Now, this Flex is going to be joining the Sage Pulse and the Orvis Recon and the Winston Nexus, all of which make up a great value at a price point that we can all afford. Before we show you how this casts, let's start out at the bottom and go through some of the features on this new Flex. So as we take a look at the Flex, you'll notice that it really looks a lot like Big Brother the Radian. It's got a great double lock locking reel seat, and while they've traded the wood insert for carbon fiber, it still looks really nice, and it's definitely got that classic Scott feel. As we move on to the grip, you're not going to get a full Wells grip like you do on the Radian, but it's got a really nice, comfortable reversed half Wells grip. Then as we get to the blank, you find out that it's totally everything that Scott's all about. It's got that same dark gray, unsanded blank that every Scott fly rod comes with. And of course, you've got really, really nice wraps, high-end componentry, but you're not going to find the same titanium guides that you do on the Radian that make that rod a little bit lighter towards the tip. All in all, the Flex is beautifully built, and it's everything that you'd expect from a Scott fly rod. Now, let's take a look at how it casts. So I've got the Scott Flex at our first distance of 30 feet, and I'm really liking this rod. It's not necessarily as accurate as the G Loomis Asquith, but at half the price I wouldn't necessarily expect it to be. But that said, it still performs pretty well, and I'm really happy with it. The flex pattern's a little bit different on this rod than you see on something like the Radian. So in addition to being a little bit softer, it just takes a little bit of getting used to at shorter distances. But once you do, it actually performs pretty well. In terms of Scott's lineup, it's miles ahead of the Radian at short distances. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, 30 feet. Moving back to 45 feet, the Flex comes alive. It's gotta be one of my favorite rods at our middle and really our most important trout distance. I'm able to hit this target almost every time. And what I really like about it, particularly versus the Radian, is that while it doesn't have massive line speed, it feels like no matter what you do, the Flex never punishes you for a bad cast. It's always just sending the line right where you want it to go. And it's really kind of unbelievable how nice this rod is at 45 feet. It's really got the soul of not only a Scott, but a great trout rod. It's a 10 out of 10 at 45 feet. So backing up to 60 feet, we start to see a greater difference between the Flex and the Radian. At 60 feet, it just doesn't have the fast recovery and that higher overall line speed that you get on the Radian. I'm just not able to make quite as accurate a cast at longer distances. So if you're looking at this Flex, you definitely have to ask yourself if you're making long distance casts, if you want to bomb it out there. It'll do it, but it's definitely not easy. And so you're gonna have to work to get these longer casts. I'm gonna say it's an 8 out of 10 at 60 feet. I really love how this Flex casts. It's one of the top performers at 45 feet, which is really the critical distance for most trout anglers. And what's even more important is that it's a really forgiving rod at that distance, so that anybody can make this rod cast really, really well. Now, it's not the best rod at 30 feet, and it's certainly not the best rod for long distance casting. If you're casting 60, 70, 80 feet all the time, you're gonna want a rod like the Radian. But for most anglers, particularly here on the East Coast with our smaller rivers, the Flex is perfect. And it comes with all the great Scott finishing at a great price point. So this is the Scott Flex $475, and it's available with free shipping from tridentflyfishing.com. If you have any questions about this rod, give us a call at 888-413-5211 or email us 24/7 online at support@tridentflyfishing.com. And don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. I'm Ben. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.